Hello, and welcome to another episode of Making Waves at Sea Level. My name is Thom Singer, and I have been hosting this podcast for nearly 10 years. And every week, I try to bring a short discussion to you where we're going to talk about things that can really help you boost your career, whether you're in the C-suite or not. And today, I want to talk about the power of connection. During the pandemic, we all were asked to stay home. And this whole idea of networking and being part of a community and being active in different business groups, it was all set aside. And as the world started to open up a couple of years ago, people started to come back, but not everybody showed up in an industry. Not everybody showed up in a community. The pandemic was not kind to membership organizations, so a lot of business nonprofits really began to suffer. Now, we're starting to see those numbers get back almost to the levels of 2019, but they haven't really reached the same level, the same enthusiasm that people used to have for showing up, making connections, and finding mentors. So here's the thing. Your secret sauce to success in your career is going to come from the people you meet along the way. You can tweet and you can make TikTok videos and you can have likes, links, shares, and follows all over social media. But if nobody really knows who you are, they're not going to bring you opportunities. However, when you have opportunities, you're going to find you have a lot more things that you can do in your career. You're going to find a lot more options. So if you're not actively getting engaged in your local community and in your industry, you're probably giving those opportunities to other people. And that is awfully nice of you. I'm sure you're sitting there going, I don't want a new job. I don't want more pay. I don't want to get the promotion. I want other people to have that. Said nobody ever. Come on, you want to have those opportunities. And those opportunities are going to come from the connections that you make along the way. But the problem is, if you're sitting at home thinking that likes, links, shares, and follows, thinking that it really doesn't matter, you're going to look back and say, why are they getting all the opportunities and I'm sitting here with no opportunities? So connections matter, and there's power in connections. Now, if you attend industry events, you'll find that the meeting planners spend a lot of time selecting the best speakers they can. They want people who are going to be both entertaining and full of actionable content. And that is awesome. Plus, they're going to design some great parties and they're going to design some other activities when it comes to learning. But I have found that very few people make networking that high level priority when they're planning an event. In fact, they often just assume that having an open bar, that'll make the networking happen because people will throw back a few drinks. Well, I'll tell you what, people are drinking a lot less than they used to. So if you're relying on your event having a social lubricant of a few glasses of wine, well, people aren't going to drink as much. They're not going to talk as much. And your event is going to be kind of blah when it comes to the connections. So there's a couple of things that you want to do if your company is planning an event or you're part of an association that's planning an event. And that is, number one, you have to actively create networking opportunities and get your speakers to talk about it from the stage. Make all of the happy hours, the breaks, the meals, and the other activities, make them sound exciting. And here's a tip. Ask your speakers to participate, at least on the day they're speaking, if not for the whole conference. There are some speakers who won't. Well, don't hire them. Hire the ones who want to be part of your community and help raise up that whole idea of people interacting. Second thing is you want to have interactive sessions. You want to have sessions where the speaker is asking questions of the people in the audience. Now, that doesn't necessarily work with a giant keynote on a big stage, but all the breakout speakers should be asking questions, putting people in groups and getting feedback because people don't want to just be talked at. They want to be part of the solution. They want to share in what's going on. The next idea, number 3, is to have some icebreaker activities, which means on day 1, every single day, you should have a way to make sure that people are meeting others. One of the cool things at a conference I went to is during their breakfast hour, and this was a conference with like 5,000 people. During their breakfast hour, they had an optional icebreaker / networking breakfast. I led it every morning from 7 to 8:30, and we had about 100 people every single day. And every single day, the same people came back and brought some of their friends because they were actually meeting people. So plan for activities where people, if they want to choose to meet more people, they can do that. Then make sure that you're having facilitated learning conversations. Have some areas where people can get together and talk about what they heard from the keynotes or the breakouts. Schedule time for people to be able to share the best practices of what they're learning and how they do similar things in their own business. Number 5, leverage technology. Make sure that before, during, and after the event, you're using technology that allows people the chance to comment, to share, and to get to know who's there. Also, and I already mentioned this one, get your speakers engaged. If your speaker's greatest skill is getting to the airport 5 minutes, 15 minutes after they say, thank you very much, then they're really not the best speaker for your event. You want someone who's going to stay and talk to people and encourage them to meet each other. And then the final thing you have to do is you have to create a welcoming environment. You have to be reminding people that one of the reasons they came, they came for the learning, but they also came for those networking opportunities. Guide people along. So if you're planning an event, you have to do those things. Now, if you're the one attending an event, you have to take advantage of all of that. Whether the meeting planner set it up for you or not, you need to take advantage of it. So number one, you need to be open and approachable. Stand around, smile at people, start conversations, make it look like you're worth talking to. If you're sitting in the corner on your phone going like this, no one's going to come up because they don't want to bother you. And then you'll be like, oh, nobody was friendly. Nobody talked to me. You have to take advantage. Second thing you can do is you can ask a lot of questions. You can ask questions of the speakers, but you also can ask questions of the people who you're sitting with at a table or you're standing in line at the bar. Ask them, what was your favorite part so far of this conference? Or what's the best thing you've learned? Or my favorite question, why did you come to this event in the first place? What do you want to get out of it? You'll learn so much and you'll spark a lot of conversations. And then the most important thing you can do, no matter how you made a connection at a conference, you need to follow up with the people who you met. Simply adding them to your LinkedIn or adding them to your email list doesn't make a difference. You have to have some one-on-one follow-up conversations with people if you want to build a relationship. Meeting someone once does not make them part of your network. Meeting someone once makes them someone you've met once. And meeting someone once is way different than cultivating a long-term and mutually beneficial relationship. So there is power in connection. You have to take ownership of it. And if you're planning events, you have to set it up so that everyone can take advantage of it. This is something that doesn't happen by accident. We need to start a movement about connection. If you want to have those superpowers, if you want to have that secret weapon, you have to be the person who's out there bringing people together, facilitating things, because when you do that, community will be formed because of you. Anyway, thanks for listening to the podcast. Catch you next week right here on Making Waves at Sea Level.